Alrighty, so it looks like we are live. Go ahead and drop a comment that says live real quick. If you guys got me, it says I've got some viewers on. I want to make sure that you guys got me on the audio. So if you guys can hear me, just say live down below. Live. And we'll see if we're live here and you guys can actually hear me or not. So um looking in the comments, I don't see anything yet. Maybe you can't hear me. I'm going to say comment live if you can hear me. Live. Okay, Murph does it, has me. Cool. Sweet. Well, we've got the live loud and clear says Dennis. Sweet. Welcome, Dennis. Welcome, Murph. So, guys, today we're going to be talking about the Skeleton Key sales script. I've dropped this script. I believe it was last week. This was the script I used to make sales, and this was the same script that Tim and I used to generate over six figures each in just a few months in applications. I did several hundred applications just in my first 6 months in insurance. So I kind of wanted to share like with you guys some of the principles around the tonality, kind of the presentation or the attitude that I had or have around a presentation, and just kind of like some higher level stuff today. So if you guys are using this script, this is going to be super helpful. We've already had tens of thousands of dollars in AP generated since last week using that script alone. So I'm super excited to share this stuff with you guys today. I think it's going to be super helpful for a lot of you. And if you're over the phone or face to face, this script will work for either of you. And I'm going to kind of just dive straight in. I've got a packed schedule, so I'm not going to be able to hang around after the 30 minutes that I have allotted for today. But I'm going to jump straight in. So I'm also going to be asking you guys some questions because I'm not particularly sure exactly what everyone is struggling with, and so I want to make sure I'm kind of being helpful here. So um, drop in the comments below, say hang up if you keep getting hung up on whenever you guys are on the phone. And while you guys are commenting hang up, I'm going to tell you how you can fix that. So whenever if you've got this script, there's a a particular way for you to present the introduction of your call. And so whenever I'm calling someone, I'm always looking for someone to kind of think I'm familiar. I don't ever want to call them and say, "Hey, this is Barbara." I see Barbara Myers commented, so I'm going to pick on you, Barb. But I see people all the time. They'll call their leads and they're like, "Hey, this is Barbara Myers from Barbara Myers Insurance. I'm calling you because you had requested some information on life insurance, and I wanted to make sure that I could protect your family." It's like these people just go in this like vomit, this word vomit, and just like dump all of this stuff on their prospect at one time and they get hung up on. Now, if you want to avoid doing that, the best way to do it is to become someone familiar, right? So as salespeople, we're chameleons, and if I'm gonna be familiar to my prospect, I have to sound familiar because if you're over the phone, they can't hear you, right? And so the tonality is that's going to come into place here is the same way that you would speak to someone that you knew. Maybe let's say you were calling an old friend from high school, right? I'm going to be like, "Hey, is Barbara there?" Right? Because I'm excited, I'm upbeat, I'm positive, and I'm asking I'm leaving off on an up note with a question about the person that I'm calling for, right? It makes me seem as if I know them. If I say, "Hey, is Barbara Myers there?" It's like I don't really, obviously I don't know her. So, "Hey, Hope, nice to see you, nice to meet you." Um, but yeah, I mean, we always want to come in with a point of familiarity. So, "Hey, is Barbara there?" Or another really good one that I'd like to use to be like, "Hey, Barbara, hey, what's going on?" And I'm not actually asking like how she's doing or he's doing on the other line of the phone. I'm just calling them and saying, "Hey," that way because it's a very common way of approaching people. "Hey, Barbara, what's going on? It's Julian." And they're like, "What?" They don't know what's going on. And so that's kind of the best way I've seen to approach introductions. I've tried many of them. tried them all pretty much, and this one has gotten me the best results. I never get hung up on using this. So, um, I wanna ask you guys another question. Who feels like they struggle to get to the health questions? Comment health down below if you feel like it's difficult for you to get to the health questions in the appointment. So like maybe you can get them on the phone, maybe you can book an appointment, and like once you get in, it's just like you really start to struggle. Dennis says health. Who else? Comment down below health if you feel like you're struggling a lot with getting into the health questions throughout the application, or you're struggling to ask them the health things, like maybe they're getting weird, they don't want to tell you, or like they want to hang up. And by the way, guys, this training is for you. So like if nobody's commenting health, like I'm not going to cover this, I'll just move on. So let me know down below. But I'm gonna probably move on from this one because I know Dennis isn't actually asking health questions. So let's move on. If you are struggling to find, like, kind of help them find the need, and you're not really sure how to transition to the survey sheet, or kind of like create that need where like they understand the value of life insurance. Maybe you're getting a ton of people that are saying, let me think about it, or I don't know if this makes sense. Or, I can't like whatever. If you're getting all these like lame objections, I got to talk to my wife, I've got to talk to my husband, et cetera, et cetera. If you're getting these objections, um, comment value down below. And I'm going to touch on how you can avoid getting those objections by overcoming them before you actually ever hear them, right? Value. Okay, so this one looks like it's going to be helpful then. We've got three values. All right, is anybody else? Okay, yeah. So this one is something that people are struggling with a lot, is building value. Guys, you are talking my language right now. This is my favorite thing in sales to do, is build value. I'll tell you why. If I build value with my client, there's no end to how much I can charge them. Think about that. Think about how absolutely absurd that is. Think about, like, let's look at Ferrari, for example. Ferrari is like one of the nicest cars on the market. If you don't like Ferraris, whatever. But if you've ever, like, been into cars, or you've ever seen a sports car and you're interested in getting something that's actually nice, and let me see, hold on, I just got a message about the live. Okay, gotcha. Sweet. So yeah, everybody just fast forwarded. Yeah, if you're not, you make sure you fast forward to the point of the live. I know there was a lot of questions about that. Thank you very much, Dennis. So yeah, guys, if you're trying to build value in a sale, let's say I'm selling a Ferrari, the value in the Ferrari is in the brand. So the brand has associated themselves with value, right? Now, here's the thing. With Ferrari, it's easy because everyone knows who that is. But with, let's say, Finding Eden, or Key Brown, or Asaka Shimizu, I hope I said that last one right, or Jose Acuna, nobody knows who you are, right? And so there's everyone's always heard, if somebody likes you, they'll buy something from you in sales. Like, oh, if they like you, got to get them to like you so they'll buy from you. That is not even close to true. They just got to know who you are. People who know who you are will buy from you. And so this is why we're going to call them. This is why we're going to door knock them. But getting in front of them is one thing. Actually building value, because you have no brand prior to this. You actually have to give these people information, right? You have to change their perspective on the way that they view things before you get into this appointment and actually like convert them into a sale, right? Because if I start asking for the order and I'm saying, well, it's just life insurance. Like, why would I buy that? And so when you want to build value, I'll show you how it is in the script, right? I'm going to say, so, basically what you do is go through a short survey, makes you sound professional. You build a little urgency by letting them know, like, they may or may not qualify. You keep them on the hook that way, right? And so you also want to talk about the problem, right? So like a fear of loss. If I'm afraid that my kid's going to get stuck with a bill, I'm going to be really concerned, right? Super, super concerned. Being a consultant, not a used car salesman. Exactly. So like, for example, if I am, let's say that I'm talking to you and you're a mom of 3 kids, right? I'm gonna be like, "So, who you plan on leaving this to?" "My 3 kids." "Okay, gotcha, sweet." Now, I wanna ask you, Jose, or let's use a girl because I said a mom. Let's use Asaka. So, Asaka, I wanna kinda ask you a question real quick. Now, if something, you know, knock on wood, were to happen to you, how would your 3 kids be able to afford that $15,000 bill? Like, what would that look like for them? And as soon as I ask that question, they're gonna be transitioned into an emotional state of thinking, "Holy shit, I have got to figure this out now," right? Because it's like, well, how are they gonna do that? When they're like, "Well, uh, I don't know, I'm not sure," or like da 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 da, whatever. I'm like, "Gotcha." No, I mean, let's think about it for a second. Would that affect the way that they're living? I mean, do you think if they were to have to pay $15,000 tomorrow, Asaka, do you think that they would be able to make that kind of commitment but while keeping, let's say they're older, while keeping their bills paid and food on the table for their kids? I mean, how do you think that would look? What would that look like? They're gonna fall apart in front of you guys. I mean, oh, they would be broke. It's not happening. Da 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 da. Like, because all these people have their kids have car payments, mortgages, all sorts of credit card debt, all sorts of crap. And there's no way that they're gonna be able to handle a $15,000 curveball. So we've got to make these people understand that, right? I've got to transition them into an emotional state, but also a state of understanding. Because if they're just like, well, it's like I see so many people pushing life insurance like it's a freaking like it's a grocery or something, dude. If I mean, it's not hard for me to tell you you need to have protein in your diet. You need to have carbs. So you go into the store and you buy it and they just push it and push it and push it and they stock the shelves and you just keep getting it. Life insurance is not that way. If you're going into the appointment and you're like, well, this is the best price and oh, well, I have the best this and nobody cares. So when you're talking about actually building that value, you want to create that need first of all. And then secondly, you also kind of want to touch on the value of your product versus other products versus other companies' products versus other agents. Let me explain. So, if you are an agent and you're going into, let's say you're a face to face or over the phone agent, I'm going to beat you every time. I'm going to tell you why. It's not because I'm better, it's just because my systems are better. So, and you can all do this, all of you moving forward, and then I won't beat you anymore, right? But when you guys are getting these calls off, you're getting these in front of these people, when I talk to them, I pretend I'm a friend. If you're pretending you're a telemarketer, I've already won. Then I'm going to go in and find that need, create that need for the person. If you're not doing that, I've already won again. I'm already like 2 strikes, you're out. Boom, right? I've already taken over this phone call. Once I go through the survey and I find out whether or not they're qualified, which by the way, if you guys are pitching unqualified people, make sure you're using that survey sheet so you're not getting stuck talking to brokies that just want to talk your head off all day. So then after I found out whether or not they're qualified, once I start pitching them, now I've got a situation in which I can start to create more value around who I am and what they're getting. So I'm going to be like, Asaka, based on what you qualify here for, I'm going to give a 30-second elevator pitch on a carrier, right? And one that I like to use a lot is Royal Neighbors. I'm going to give you guys an example of what this looks like. I also like American Amicable. And so we need to make sure that they can actually picture the company that they're going to do business with, right? Because right now, all they hear is a voice on a phone. And for all they know, you're some creep in your mom's basement, right? Or whatever, right? You could be a scammer. They have no clue. And so I'm going to make sure that they know I'm knowledgeable about everything. So there's no question about whether or not I am or am not a scammer. So I'm going to be like, now, Asaka, I want to ask you a question real quick, just so how you are say it is better than what you were saying. Yeah, how you say it is better than what you say. Exactly. But I'm going to say to the prospect, this is again an example of building value. Guys, I mean, or Asaka, have you ever heard of a company called Royal Neighbors of America? Does that ring a bell? They're going to say no every time, even if they've heard of them. Just about like 9.9 out of 10 times, you're not going to know what you're talking about unless you say like Mutual of Omaha. I don't know why. I think it's just because they send out a lot of mailers. But whenever I'm asking this question, I'm teeing myself up for this little like elevator pitch here. Whether or not they say yes, I say it anyway. So I'd be like, oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, well, I mean, just to kind of give you a refresher, Royal Neighbors, Osaka, is a company that was founded in 1895 by 9 women, and they were actually the first group to insure women and children in in the States here in America, right? And so what's crazy is that they pioneered that movement, and since then they've been working as a nonprofit, a fraternal society, to invest in more impoverished communities that really don't have as much opportunity. They give out college scholarships, and when you become a member with them, you'll actually get discounts on like, dental and vision, or maybe like if you have a parking ticket or something like that. So there's a lot of options there, and you also get a free will, which, by the way, if you were to pay an attorney, is going to cost you an arm and a leg, maybe even a kidney. And they'll try to argue with you and tell you only need one, but the truth is you have two for a reason. So I hope that kind of, does that kind of give you a better idea of who we're working with here? They're going to say yes, and I'm going to move on. And so now when I'm going to build value, I've built value in the brand, right? I've built value in the brand and in the carrier, right? They have to trust three people, or three things, I guess. They need to trust product, they need to trust person, and they need to trust production, right? So person is you, production would be the carrier because they're producing the product, right? And so I've got to make sure that I am telling them about every little step across the way so that there's no doubt, right? Jordan Belfort calls this like the scale of 1 to 10 of certainty, I believe, something like that. If you haven't read his book, I highly recommend it. It'll change your life. But if you actually listen and apply to it, but like that book is amazing. So love him, love what he does. But my point is that whenever you're talking about your company, first I got to get my company off. So I've already talked about Royal Neighbors. For those of you that are talking about your IMO, please stop. It's gross. I hear all this. We're an A plus rated company with the Better Business Bureau, and we've been in business and this, that, and the third, and our CEO, and I've been here, and I've got to stop it. They don't care. Nobody knows who. If you're a consumer, you know who Geico is because they advertise. You know who United Healthcare is, Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and Humana, and maybe even Aetna and Mutual of Omaha. I saw Animal Kingdom on there. That's exactly right. So now I know who I'm talking about. But if you guys are like, I work at FFL, and it's what? What are you talking about FFL for, man? Like, they don't know who that is. We know who that is because we're brokers and we work with an IMO, right? Or maybe you're with Duford Insurance Group, or maybe you're with Symmetry, but like nobody cares. I hear people call up and say that they're working with their own company, right? I'm working with Osaka LLC. Dude, nobody's ever heard of that company. So like we've got to play to our strengths here, guys, and we've got to use the brand of the carrier, not try to do this whole like thing ourselves where we're hopping on and we're talking about what you've done, and it just doesn't help, right? It doesn't add value. So take that out of your value proposition if that's what you're pushing currently. So if I've talked about my carrier, now I'm talking about myself, right? And so now I'm gonna tell them a little bit more about me. I've done this all throughout the conversation to build more trust, but I want to kind of give them an idea of what I'm doing. Now, I don't want you guys to mix this up because it doesn't mean I've got brown hair and I'm 5'9" and I'm like, when you become a garbage in and garbage out, yes, I think. I'm not sure. I'm not. Tell me more about that, Barbara. I want to see what you mean. But I think I understand, but I'm not quite sure. But yeah, so I mean, like, guys, if we're talking, I've got to tell them about me. Now, what does that look like? I'm not going to come out here. When I was 12 years old, no, they don't care about that either. What are you going to do for them? If you make the entire appointment only about your prospect, you'll become a better salesman or woman by double minimum. So I'm going to ask them. I'm going to say, okay, gotcha. So, Miss Jones now, or let's go back to Osaka. So Osaka, whenever we start working together, I'm going to be your agent. Okay. And one thing I'm going to do here before we even get started, I'm assuming the deal is I'm actually going to put you on the do not call list. Do you have your email handy? And I'm throwing them on the do not call list because now they don't think I'm a telemarketer. They think I'm the best person ever. Honestly, I'm sick and tired of people like you guys getting freaking screwed and they just hammer your phones, and the seniors have been doing this and doing that. If you're selling to mortgage protection people, you don't have to say seniors, but I used to sell FE, so that's what I would do. But guys, I mean, we're just letting them know, hey, like, I don't want you to get terrorized anymore. And I'm sick and tired of all these telemarketers getting to you. So let's get you on that do not call list and make all those phone calls go away. Does that sound okay? Does that sound fair enough? And they're gonna be like, yes. I'm like, okay, cool, gotcha. Yeah. So then I'm gonna move on, right? And then I'm gonna build a little bit more. So hey, and Miss Jones, just so you're kind of aware of the way that I do things, I'm what's known as like a broker. Are you familiar with that term? No? Gotcha. And I'm always going to be super exaggerated. Like when they tell me, like if I say, has anyone ever talked to you about this before? I'm going to show you guys exactly how I do it. So, and Miss Jones, has anybody ever talked to you about this life insurance thing before? And they're like, no. I'm like, what? Miss Jones, are you serious? Are you for real? I'm telling you, the public education system is failing people these days. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, good Lord, you don't even know about life insurance, and that's one of the most important financial decisions you ever make in your entire life outside of buying a house with your spouse or getting married. Good God. Well, don't worry, I'm here now, right? And so I'm going to be like absurd. I'm going to be out there. And so when I'm talking about what Dennis says, what's the secret sauce on Insurance Agent Freedom Group and have made 778K in the last 5 months? What's the process I should start following to increase my production? Yeah, it's just a combination of generating your own leads and then making sales using the script that we have. But yeah, I helped them roll in the do not call list. Interesting. Yeah. So for all of you guys that have tried to steal my business, good luck. They're on the do not call list. So it's not going to work. But for the people that want to call the lists and try and go after my customers and stuff, I don't allow it, right? Now, I am extremely aggressive with this. Like, I'm making sure that my client's not going to get called. So, like, I'm doing whatever it takes to get phone calls blocked away from going through to their phone. But back to myself, I'm going to ask them, are you familiar with the way that a broker works? Or, they're going to be like, no, I don't know. Or they'll say something that makes no sense. And then I'll just, oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. So basically the way that it works is my job is to make sure that I can put you with the best company possible. And now we had just spoken about Royal Neighbors a moment ago, but do you actually know why I ended up going with that company? And they're going to be like, well, why? I'm gonna be like, well, I'll tell you why. I don't work for them. I work with them. So what that means is that with me having an entire arsenal of companies in my toolbox, I don't have any dog in the fight. My goal is to get you the best possible coverage that you qualify for, and get it the least expensive possible. Does that make sense? When they agree, I will say, oh, exactly. Do you want to know why I do this? And I'm taking price objection. I'm taking other options. I'm taking shopping. I'm taking all my objections out of the way. They're all right here on the back end when I don't pre-frame properly, which is what we're doing. We're pre-framing, we're building value. When I'm doing all of this, all these objections are just getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer and slimmer. Boom, it's gone. So I'm going to say now, the reason that I'm asking you this question, Miss Jones, is because when we're looking at the best fit for you, it's important to make sure you understand why we're going with this company. Wouldn't you agree? Yes, perfect. And okay, so based off of your health, that we went over here, and let's say that they have diabetes and gabapentin, they've got metformin gabapentin combination, throwing them on the Royal Neighbors. So based off of you having that diabetic neuropathy, and you have the metformin. And yeah, I'm never dissing other carriers, by the way. I'm only talking up the one that I'm talking about, right? In case you have to pivot, you don't want to talk badly about other carriers, because if you do this, then it's like, like let's say I start saying, well, Mutual of Omaha is this, and then I have to go and write them on Mutual of Omaha because of the underwriting, right? That's going to put you in a terrible position. Don't ever do that. Just talk up what you got. So Miss Jones, the reason that we're picking this is based off that diabetic neuropathy. It looks like the gabapentin and the metformin combination is going to lead us to be either with this company or another one. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this is because the company that we're picking is going to give you more benefits. It's going to end up costing you significantly less, and you're going to get more coverage. Does that make sense? Yeah, it does. Okay, gotcha. Now, I want to clarify something real quick with you, Asaka. The reason why I'm doing this is because let me put this into perspective. If you were to end up working with somebody else, where they gave you a ring, then you know what I would do? I would try and earn your business, which is what any business owner would do, right? If I were them. Now, based off of me being a businessman, right? My goal here is to make sure that you have the best thing in the world so you never leave me. Does that make sense? Now, most people are very nervous to say this to their prospect because they don't even want to tell their prospect that there's a chance of them leaving or whatever, and so on and so forth. But I'm going to address it already. Now, the reason that I'm picking the best option for you, again, takes away, oh, I'm shopping around, crap. So we'll get there in a second, Barbara. That one's about to get crazy and blow your mind. So from there, though, I'm touching on every single objection that they could possibly have. And so from there, I'm going to say, gotcha. Yeah. And so, I'm sure you can imagine as someone as smart as yourself, you can probably see why I don't want someone else to come in and take away my business, right? Because then what happens is after I get paid from the insurance company, if I don't keep that business, I don't keep that money. And then that means I don't keep the house or the pretty girlfriend or the car or the cute little dog that I got here on my phone either, right? And they're going to go, "Oh my gosh, yeah." Right? And so, they get all hyped up because they're feeling like they're getting to know you now. So see, I'm tying myself into the conversation as well, talking about the girlfriend. How long have you guys been dating? If they're an older lady, they will start hammering you with questions about the girlfriend. Oh, we've been together for XYZ years, blah, 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 so on and so forth, right? And so I've made myself their advisor, not an advisor. You cannot be an insurance agent. You have to be their insurance agent, right? And so I'm like, okay, got you. Yeah. So, after this call, once we get you on the do not call list and so on and so forth, blah, 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 you'll be squared away. And so basically all we got to do is fill out this application real quick and see what you qualify for and so on and so forth. So I validated the brand, the product, the brand of the company, the product, and myself at this point. I've covered all three of my bases. I'm locked and loaded, and I'm about to take this app on. So now when I go through the app, I go through everything as normal, no questions asked, no problems. Now, price presentation. Let's talk about this. Price presentation is important, guys, because when I'm going through my price prezo, I've got to make sure that they understand what they're getting. So I'm going to do it exactly like this. Watch. So I'm going to say, if I'm over the phone, if you're in person, just do everything I'm doing, but do it for them instead and show them. So I'm going to say, okay, gotcha. Now I'm going to get some prices pulled up for you here. Do you have a pen and paper? Yes. Okay, cool. Gotcha. So I'm going to have you write down that 10,000 in coverage. I've pulled up a few options for you based off what Rural Neighbors has going on. And, I'm going to have you write down 12,500 below that. And I'm going to have you write down 15,000 below that. Let me know when you got that written down. And I'm writing it with them so that I can explain this even better. So to the right of 10,000, write an equal sign. And you're probably wondering what the heck I'm talking about, Miss Jones. I'm going to go over that in just 1 second. I want you to write the equal sign to the right of the 12,500 and to the right of the 15,000 as well. And let me know when you got that written down. Oh, okay, gotcha. Cool, I got it written down. All right, so and Miss Jones, next to the 10,000, I want you to write down 80. Now I want you to put down next to the 12,500 90, and then next to the 15,000, I'm going to have you put 100. Okay, and then they're going to be like, yeah, okay, cool, I got it written down. Be like, let me know when you got that all finished up. As soon as they've got it all finished up, okay, I got everything written down. Now I'm going to say, all right, so go ahead and circle, based off of, I'm going to explain this and then I'm going to have you circle something real quick. Based off of these, off of the way that I had you wrote this down, did you notice that I had you put an equal sign in the middle? Yes. Reason why is because with the kind of coverage that we're looking at here, I'm going back to building value and explaining the concept here in the product. For all those benefits that you're getting and all that extra stuff that they're going to give you with working with it, with the free will and the dental vision discounts and the this, that, and the thirds and the helping the impoverished communities, I put that equal sign because the concept that we're talking about here today is that they'll pay the big one and you pay the small one. It's that simple. It never goes up. It never goes down for either number. That's why I put an equal sign there. Does that make sense? And they're just like, that makes so much sense. I totally get it. Gotcha. Do I always talk this fast with clients? Yes. Whenever I'm talking with them, I'll also have them circle it. So, okay, Miss Jones, now based off these three numbers, which one do you think would best fit in your budget? The smaller number. And they're like, I'm like, go ahead and circle that for me. They're okay. Now, which one did you circle, Miss Jones? I circled the one that was in the middle, the 90. Okay. Now, just to confirm here, Miss Jones, if we were to do on your worst month, I'm going to ask worst month because sometimes they have a bill that pops up. if something were to happen, a bill pops up, Murphy's Law happens, and Murphy moves in and the AC unit or the washer goes out or whatever, is this going to still be something that's going to be comfortable for you to fit into your budget, or do we want to look a little bit more towards the other one? Because this is meant to add value to your life, not take away value from your life. And so I want to make sure that, if we have this option, the one that's going to last forever and that never expires, we want to make sure that you can hold up your end of the agreement so they can hold up theirs. Does that make sense? It does. Okay, gotcha. All right. So, I'm going to go ahead and select that here. Da 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 da. And that's my price prezo. I've built the value in the product. I've built the prezo. Ask for banking. Be chill. Don't be weird. Just let them know. When I ask for banking, by the way, in case you guys were wondering, I'm always going to do it this way. And Saka, who did you say that you banked with? And they're going to say, Wells Fargo. Okay, gotcha. Out in Wyoming, right? Yeah, in Wyoming. Okay, gotcha. I've got that routing number pulling up, here in my system. All I need is that account number, and I'm ready for it whenever you are. I'm just going to shut up. Why do I do it that way? Because if I have in my system banking information preloading its way into my applications, I've got to be legit. There's no way I'm a freaking scammer if I've got routing numbers popping up like that. And that's the psychological trigger we're giving the prospect there in the phone call or in the home whenever we're doing that. And all you have to do is Google it. Just look up state and look up bank. It'll have your routing number right there. So, guys, I'm sure this was a lot to watch. I think you were able to replay it. I'm not quite sure. I love how you reconfirm the sale. Everybody wants to buy. Nobody wants to be sold. Exactly. And as soon as, by the way, I'm going to leave you with this last thing, guys, before I hop off here. I've got 1 minute left before I got to jump into an appointment. Time's up, actually, but I'm going to give it to you anyways. After I hop off here, you know what I'm going to say every single time? Hey, so Miss Jones, I know this is a little bit personal, but I wanted to just come clear with you. Let's just be transparent with you for a sec. Asaka, do you know how awesome it is for your kids to have somebody like you who's just willing to pay that, like make sure that they're not stuck with that burden? You'd be surprised with how many people are out there that say that they don't care if their kid gets stuck with a $15,000 bill, or if something were to happen to them, they would just need to figure it out. And it breaks my heart when I hear stuff like that. So I just wanted to, I know I'm not meaning to have a little heart to heart with you, but sometimes this job, it can be a little emotional, I'm glad we got to have this conversation today. I'm actually going to save your number in my personal phone, and I'm typing that in now, and I'm going to shoot you a message here. So if you ever need anything, you can always reach out to me. And then also, little retention technique here. And what I'm going to do, if it's okay with you, is just reach out to your primary and your contingent beneficiary, just in the event that, knock on wood, you were to get into like a train accident or something crazy. And then that way they can always reach out to me, and they have my contact saved instead of having to, scramble to find some paperwork or to get in contact with you. And I just don't want something like that to happen. So I'm going to give them a ring if that's okay. Yes. Boom. Referrals, 2 of them. So I hope this was helpful, guys. I hope that you enjoyed watching this today, and I hope that you guys make a ton of money. I've got to get off here, sadly. I wish I could stay with you a little bit longer today, but if you guys get a deal, go ahead and post it in the Facebook group, Insurance Agent Freedom. It's linked below all our videos if you're not currently in it. And basically our goal is to make as many millionaires as humanly possible in this industry, more than anybody else. And our goal is also to help you achieve insurance agent freedom. So we'll see you in the next one. I hope you guys are knocking this out of the park. If you don't have the script yet, it's $1. I know, a fortune, but it's in the Facebook group and you can get it. And you can get that there and watch the live that comes with that. There's extra coaching attached to it in that live as well. So if you guys want to check that out, you're more than welcome to. If not, no big deal. But I'm going to keep putting these out to make sure that you guys can start writing, 5, 10, 20K, whatever a week plus, whatever you're capable of or willing to do. But just remember that all of you are capable. And so it actually just comes down to whether or not you are willing to do it. I'm going to go. I'm going to make sure I'm not too late for this appointment. But guys, I freaking love you. And I hope you guys are killing it. And we'll talk soon. See ya.